This is George Church, a technologist, as he calls himself, from Harvard. And I have a few questions for you. Do you think that our soul might be encapsulated in our genetic code?
Well, a soul is not something that's rigorously defined scientifically, but if you wanted to take a guess, you would probably put it in your nervous system, which is a product of your DNA, but has a lot more in it than your DNA. The nervous system, when you were a baby, and your nervous system now is encoded by the same DNA, but it's very different. It's been programmed, it's had time to mature and develop, and to reconstruct that, you need a lot more than your DNA. You'd have to have either all of your experiences or, again, this map of all the molecules.
So I'm thinking of something a little more Star Trek-y.
Yeah.
The holodeck, where you're able to move one body from one place to the next.
Now, energize and detonate.
Force, if you can read in all the molecules and then write them out accurately. But the holodeck, I'm not an expert on this, but as I understand it, you can project it out into a place where there is no holodeck.
Right.
So I think it would work better if you had two machines, both of which were human technology, very advanced technologies. That might work.
Okay.
But it's very far off.
What do you think of the Genome Project? Where do you think that that's going?
Well, so the Human Genome Project has transitioned into things like the Personal Genome Project, which instead of one genome, getting everybody's genome, and allowing people to share it, share their information, and correlate traits with genes. And so this is clearly the next thing that has to be done, because one generic genome doesn't tell you anything about how the diversity. What's more important is how we're different, not how we're all the same. That's how we're going to get personalized medicine. That's how we're going to know what our risks are. And that requires a lot of sharing. If everybody gets their genome sequence, we've made it very inexpensive now, as this meeting is about. But if we all sit on it, we get nothing out of it. But we share it, some of us, doesn't have to be everybody. And there's a lot to be learned.
Well, what's the one thing that might stick out in your mind that you think is going to be really cool from all of this studies in technology, let's say, I don't know, in the next 50 or 60 years? I'm just throwing out a number, but what do you think is going to change that is a little out there? What can be done?
Well, I think we're transitioning from reading DNA. So we brought the cost down of sequencing human genomes from $3 billion now into the thousands of dollars, and it will probably come down to so inexpensive you get it along with something else. You know, when you get steak knives with a bank account, you'll get your genome with some insurance or health plan. But the next step after bringing that cost down to basically zero is being able to write to human cells. In other words, being able to change, to fix my DNA so it doesn't get cancer. Or reprogram my DNA so I can fix an organ that's failing. And I think that's what's going to happen over the next few years.
All right, well, thank you for your very interesting perspectives.
Okay.